Welcome back to Game Devs Play Games, where you can watch games, practice game design, and we are leaving the innards of Ursula's domain. Is she like, does she live inside of a giant eel? Or is it just like a cave that kind of looks like an eel?
Maybe. I'm gonna say yes.
Whoa.
That's the new mermaid kick.
Oh, I was like, why are you moving so fast all of a sudden?
Yeah, that's so we can get past those tides, the currents.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So now we can go back to that other area and just kind of go to whatever passages we want, not hindered by what that dolphin feels like doing.
Just go back to the cavern nook so we can save.
Do you think it was necessary for them to hide save points inside clamshells?
No, but they're already going with that theme, so.
I guess it still is on theme. I'm just kind of like, what if I wasn't like a very explorative player and I just like...
But the thing is, the first thing they show you in the level, right, is you have to break open that shell in order
that's true, to get Flounder and
Sebastian out.
So I guess that was their justification is, we taught you, you know what to look for.
Yeah, right, so if you don't look for it, it's your fault. I'm gonna have to pet the shark guy again.
You know, I guess on that end, maybe that is a good justification for the tutorial, because if the player actually didn't know where the save points were, that could be a very negative experience.
Right, because then they'd be like, I had to play for 2 hours straight for sure just so I could beat this world.
And I think it's a very small fraction of players that would just like not open clamshells.
Exactly.
But that small enough fraction still matters. And that's why like tutorials in most games are still a pretty important thing to have.
Oh, absolutely.
Because even if you as a avid gamer don't feel the need to go through a tutorial, that maybe 10% of the player base might still really need it. What if it's their first game?
Yeah, like, right, exactly. You know, they may not understand how like, these water levels work, you know?
And just because your familiarity with games as a whole and how they tend to work means that you may not benefit from a tutorial.
The only problem
that's a poor justification to ruin the experience for new players.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
There's like a weird superiority complex to that, I think.
There really is, and it doesn't... I hate the superior complex of gamers because I feel like so many gamers were ridiculed for playing games, but then all they do is
ridicule a lot of other
just like,
players for...
It's like, why? Like, why are you trying to be like this? You understood what it was like to, you know, like something and maybe not be the best at something.
Well, and that's partly why, like, gaming... The term gamer generally has a negative connotation to it.
Oh, absolutely it does.
And it's a shame, right? Because, like... Traditionally, gamer just refers to someone who plays games,
likes to play
semi-regularly, if not regularly.
Yeah, right? It's like their big thing.
Yeah, and now gamer generally refers to someone who engages in gaming culture and generally implies toxic behavior. And that's, I don't think it has to be that way. I still call myself a gamer because I play games and I love them.
Yeah, no, I call myself a gamer too because at the same time, it's like I play games, I love them as well. But I try and distance myself from the toxic gaming community.
Yeah.
Just like I call myself a comic book nerd, but like that's another very toxic community.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, I hate toxic communities. I hate people who assume they know what the best is for like a whole community. And
a lot of people that are sort of in the same like mind space as you and I when it comes to like the term gamer. They'll generally refer to themselves as not a gamer.
Yeah.
Just because they don't want to be associated with that negative connotation.
And I don't blame them for not wanting to be associated with it.
I don't blame them, but I don't think it fixes the problem. I think distancing yourself from that terminology only allows that like negative connotation to flourish.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think there's an argument both ways, but I think that's one reason why I still refer to myself as a gamer, because like I want to change that perception that gamers don't have to be shitty.
You know what that meaning is. You understand what you're trying to get out of that. Okay.
I mean, and that goes across like everything. It's not specific to gaming culture. That even is like a life philosophy.
No, absolutely. I agree with you, man. Like, obviously, we're kind of preaching to the choir here, at least for you and I
agree.
In this community. Hopefully, most of our viewers are also of the same mindset that, like, the gaming community can be very toxic and that we need to do our best to to tell people, no, it's not cool.
I think chances of avoiding toxic behavior in gaming culture is very hard to do.
Well, and that's why you see so many people who are so, like, I don't want to use the word brainwashed because that's not exactly the term I mean, because that sounds so much meaner than
willfully
I mean for it to
ignorant.
be. But yes, it's like there's like this ignorance saying like, oh, I'm not doing it. This is just the gaming community as a whole, and that's like the whole same argument. Like, oh, boys will be boys. You know, it's all that same idea to me.
Yeah,
it's like no, you're not doing. Oh God.
This is just kind of horrifying.
Yeah, this is not. This can be a very tough fight.
This is cool though.
Yeah, no, I really do like this fight a lot, but it's one of the more difficult bosses in the game.
It sort of reminds me of the fight with the sand lion. I forget what it was actually called, but the one in Agrabah.
Yeah.
But this I think works better because we have the ability to move vertically.
Yep.
This is cool though. Yeah, I like this a lot.
It's a tough fight. It's a very tough fight, and it's unforgiving at times. But I am a big fan of it, except when I get bit in the face by her. I really do not enjoy it. I just like this is the only part in the game where I feel like the controls, I kind of lose control of my controller. You know, and it's kind of frustrating because it's like it does something that the other levels hadn't done at the time yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
And again, it's just something that I have to get better about. I still enjoy this level. Like I said, there's a lot of people who don't like Atlantica. And I don't know if it's because Kingdom Hearts 2 left such a bad taste in their mouth because they essentially like made it just a dumb mini game.
You know, I can see that specifically because I think when
it
most
me
people...
out because it's a good level. I do like this level a lot. Like I think I've been pretty clear about the fact that I enjoy playing this level.
I think when most people talk about Kingdom Hearts, most people refer
talking
to
about two. Oh, absolutely.
That's been my experience because that's why I still feel like I can't relate to what people talk about with Kingdom Hearts because this is the only one I ever played.
Well, and like I love this game. I really do. There's still a whole innocence to it that I just have always appreciated. And that'll never stop. I'm actually doing pretty okay.
Just got what, 2 layers of health left?
Yeah.
I can't see if there's a color difference between
There
them.
is. There's
a very minor difference.
It is super minor, and for someone who is colorblind, I can see why that would be insanely difficult. And
is the top layer slightly darker?
Brighter, I think, is the better word to use. It's lighter, actually.
Oh, man.
If that makes sense. I know that does not make a lot of sense.
No, brighter makes sense.
But it's brighter and lighter because it's more of like it's more
so like more saturated maybe.
Yeah, it's more saturated. Yes, because the green that like is currently almost gone, and the green that's behind it. Ooh, yeah, that's such a painful attack.
They're mostly different levels of saturation.
Well, no, and there's also more of like a murky green that's underneath. It's like I don't know how to explain that color green. It's like a pea green almost.
Pea?
No, not like
a vegetable.
Like a vegetable pea, not like urine. Because urine is not green, and if your urine's green, please go to a doctor. Yeah. Like, Chris and I joke because I'm always like, oh yeah, I'm hurt a little bit. He's like, go see a doctor. I'm like, no, it's not that kind of hurt.
No. Tony was like, I can't feel my foot.
That's not what I said. My foot hurt. That is all I said. My foot hurt a lot.
You were like, my foot's really sensitive. Like, don't touch it.
Yeah,
because it was in a lot of
time.
pain.
Yes, I could feel my foot. I would be a lot more worried if I could not feel my foot.
I think both instances are bad.
Well, potato.
Tony, go see a doctor.
I don't anymore. I feel better. You see, that's the thing. You never listen. You always assume from the first one. You're like, oh.
Just because the pain goes away doesn't mean the problem's resolved, Tony.
Well, it might be resolved. In my head.
Oh boy, her eyes got real weird for a second.
Her eyes get real weird.
The tracking. You died?
Damn, yeah, because she starts hitting the lightning really hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you were still doing okay.
I was doing really well, but then she starts blasting the lightning like crazy, and there's just nothing you can do.
That sucks.
Yeah, like I said, this becomes kind of a frustrating level.
Is there like a anti-electricity thing you can equip?
There might be, but
like a lightning ring?
I might have one. I'm actually not totally sure if I do.
I don't remember how much of that exists in this game.
Let's use... Oh my God, there. Because for this, I'm not as like against like you like taking AP up.
I like that they could actually. I might have already talked about this, but I like that they can actually use the real music for the Disney franchises in this game. The Jurassic World game that Phosphor worked on, we had the license to use Jurassic World, but they didn't want to give us the license to use the real music, so we had to like use this faux Jurassic Park theme. It was stupid.
Yeah, it kind of sounds a little lame.
The game was kind of stupid anyway, but it was fun. Bobby designed that one, and that was my favorite of the two mobile VR games we worked on. Was that one in Batman?
Oh, yeah, Batman was pretty cool. Made my eyes hurt a little bit, but that was just more of the VR headset I was using.
You also played an in-development version of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, also, the Gear VR can definitely hurt your eyes. The Batman game that we made, I had a lot of issue with how we handled cameras in that because it was a third-person perspective. Or not third person, but like they were stationary cameras that, you know, you could rotate around.
Oh, okay.
And so when Batman would go from one spot to another, it would jump to a new camera. And in VR, that can be really like, I don't know, uncomfortable and really confusing as far as controls because, you know, you'd be looking one way and Batman would be running left. And then the camera would change, and then suddenly Batman's running right, but you're still holding left on the thumb pad.
Ugh.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I gave the level designer on that a lot of shit for it, but we didn't have enough time in development for that one to properly resolve some of those issues.
Fair, man. And you're not always going to. I think that's part of the challenge of making games, right? Like, is that?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, you know, like you can't be a perfectionist on everything because at some point something's gonna fall through the works.
Well, especially when you're working as a professional company, you have to be very conscious of budget and how much time you should spend on stuff.
I think that's also very true of independent games. I think it's lost a lot when you're really thinking about independent games.
Oh, sure. But that's also because a lot of independent games are kind of built under this pretense of, I have a day job, so I technically have unlimited amount of time to make this game.
Yeah, true.
And that's the glamour of it for me, is that, like, I like making independent games because I want my game to be as close to perfect as I will allow it to be.
Yeah.
And not be restrained by things like budget.
But the question,
I don't really have to pay people.
But the question, I think the important question is, do you think it then creates a game never being fully produced because you can always do something more? You know, at what point do you say, okay, this game is pretty much as good as I think I can get this?
And that's I think what boils down to just being a good developer.
That's fair.
Because it's as an amateur developer, it's really easy to get stuck in the trap of like, this is not good enough.
Yeah, right.
And like keep telling yourself that it's not good enough. But I think as you get more experienced as a developer, you start to get a better understanding of, well, it's two things, right? As you become a better developer, you're able to hit higher levels of quality sooner.
Yeah.
But also you'll probably be better at identifying what is an appropriate level of quality for what you're trying to release.
Yeah, that's true.
And once you have an established name as an indie developer, your fans will also be very vocal about the level of quality they're expecting.
Right.
And so at that point, it becomes about managing their expectations rather than trying to, I guess, hit a level of perfection just for your own satisfaction.
Right, exactly. And I think that's an important distinction to always make when you're making games, is that, at some point, it might not be the most perfect game on the earth, but it's your game. It's your game, and no one can ever say that it's not, and I think that I'm doing so much better this round.
And I think, you're whomping her.
Yeah.
But I think that's why a lot of indie devs, after they release one really successful title, they have a very hard time keeping up that momentum for their second release, because now instead of just making a game for themselves, they have to manage expectations of their community. Which
I think I can't imagine doing that, man. And that's why I give Banner Saga some major respect.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were a game, they started to kind of become more like AA, I guess. I still wouldn't call them AAA by any means. But I think that's where they become kind of like that kind of cool in between, where it's like they were able to make a very successful indie game that then kind of became more than just indie, you know?
Well, and the thing is, and I think the really important thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about Stoic is that a lot of those guys or gals, people who
are on that game,
Stoic developers, a lot of them are industry veterans.
That's fair.
A lot of them worked on.
That's a very fair thing that I think, again, a lot of people just tend to forget.
Yeah,
because it's easy to forget. Because there's a better narrative when you can say, oh, you know, they were all indie game all the way. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, no, they had the experience that like a lot of people just don't get their hands on. That's what's
nice.
Up. So much easier that time.
Yeah, I like that she just freezes.
Yeah, she's like,
it does definitely create this weird air in the indie scene of like, well, these are indie games made by AAA developers, and these are indie games made by no-name developers.
Right.
And it's kind of weird. I think that's where a lot of people struggle to define what an indie game is. And I mean, that's a whole debate in itself.
That's a whole thing in itself.
But having those levels of like skill sets and experience also create this weird dynamic.
Oh, absolutely.
That probably doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably makes things more challenging than anything else. But
and not that industry veterans shouldn't be able to make indie games.
No, because I think a lot of we'll finish that first.
Daddy, I'm so sorry.
Please don't be angry with her. It's my fault you followed Ursula because I wouldn't let you follow your heart. And when you found that crystal, I lost my temper and destroyed it. Oh yeah, the crystal. Where did you destroy it?
What, you mean why?
Why did you destroy it? The crystal held the power to reveal the keyhole. The keyhole is dangerous. I had to keep you away from it at any cost.
Daddy.
Keybearer, I have one more request. Seal the keyhole. My trident also holds the power to reveal the keyhole. Will you do it? Of course. That's what we had in mind from the start.
Where's the keyhole, Daddy?
You should know better than anyone. It's in your grotto. Really? Sora, let's go.
Gosh. Obtain the power
of
of Thundara.
And I got Ansem's report number 3.
Nice.
We'll also save. How much time we got left?
We're over by 2 minutes.
Let's steal the keyhole and call it an episode.
Yeah, we'll wrap up this area.
That's really dumb to like be like, we're gonna dedicate a whole episode to closing the keyhole. That's not gonna happen. But you know what is interesting about that shark boss is that I think the Jaguar, there is a final time you can fight him.
That's right, Jaguar, not Leopard.
I think there's a Jaguar, right? I don't think there's a Leopard.
You're right. He is a Jaguar.
I don't remember. But with that one, I think there was a final, like, once you beat him one last time, that was it. I think they had, like, kind of a special, like, thing with him.
Yes.
But they didn't really do it with,
as far as we know.
See, I don't think they did it with the shark. Maybe not.
Actually, I think the Jaguar did keep coming back after
did it just
we,
keep coming, like, after,
him.
like, the third time, whatever, I guess.
I think something did happen, but I think he did still pop up.
Okay, that's right.
I could be
really
wrong.
Don't remember. All right.
It's been a little while.
It's been months.
I mean, that was what, the first world we went to?
That was, outside of Traverse Town, yeah.
Right.
It's the first world, yeah.
Traverse Town doesn't really count as a world. That's like a hub.
No, but there's a keyhole to seal, which we did.
Well, yeah, all right. Well, I guess that is a pretty good way to define it.
Makes it a world.
Yeah.
I got you.
You got me.
Oh, man. That's a lot less satisfying. You sound sad about
you got me.
Shoot. All right, guys. Don't buy this crap. All right? Oh, Ange does that to me all the time. She'll be like, oh, okay. And I'm like, no, stop. And so we went to go see a show with some friends.
You're so easy to kill.
Someone believed her when she's like, but he did it first. I didn't wet willy him. And they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, no, Zariah, she wet willied me. My ear is wet. She is lying. And then she laughed. And I was like, oh, she's like, man, she's good.
It's good that you don't fall for. Well, I mean, I guess she's able to manipulate you, but you know when she's BSing you.
Oh, no, I mean, I know when she's. Here's the thing. It's weird, but I kind of like. I kind of like almost like enjoy the manipulation because it's a fun game sometimes. Just like, all right,
well, you're also mean to her. So.
Yeah, we're always mean to each other. You make our relationship sound so unhealthy though when you say like mean, manipulate. It's like, well, not really.
It's playfully mean.
Yeah, it's all play. Everything's playful.
I can't be playfully mean to Jen because she just gets sad and then I feel bad. Like, she gets real sad. And I'm like, oh, I don't want that.
Claw. Oh, Ariel gave me crabs. This is one of my favorite Keyblades because it gives you a better MP.
Just what you needed.
Yep. So we'll go and save, but we can go ahead and go question of the day on this at this point because there shouldn't be any more cutscenes. So
theoretically,
there shouldn't. So just go ahead and question of the day. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're good. Just question of the day.
Yeah.
Just go into the little, solo screens where they can't see us anymore, and we're just where am I?
The like da 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 da.
Yeah, exactly. I get to the da 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 part. Yeah, just do that.
Question of the day.
The Ursula fight.
The Ursula fight,
yeah. It's a good boss battle. I really do like the Ursula fight a whole lot.
Yeah. What were the particularly well designed components of that? Because I'm sure it wasn't all good, but it definitely had some really good thought put into it.
And there's definitely some easy ways to cheat that battle to make it easier, as I'm sure some of you saw as I was playing. There's a couple things. If you swim out far enough, you can't get hit by any of the lightning.
Well, I mean, that might have been intentional too, though.
Yeah, well, because that lightning does so much damage if you're in there.
So I think it makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so let us know what you thought about Ursula's fight. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and comment on the question of the day. And as always, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye, guys.